welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about Mr. Zelig Williams, who went missing on October 3rd of 2024. This is a very layered reading, a lot of cards to get through here. And I felt like Zelig, it came through pretty clear, pretty strong, pretty direct. Some people, it takes a little more work to get them to open up. And some of these young men come right through. Like Devontae came right through. Zelig came right through. And yeah, so I love that energy. I love when they come right in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to we're just going to lay out these cards, okay? So Zelig had left the house, like he moved back to South Carolina from New York City, where he worked on Broadway as a dancer. So he had moved back, and his family said that he had left the house as if he was coming right back. And he was wearing slides, a t-shirt, and I think a dark pair of pants. And family said he was, well, not that he was unkempt, but it appeared that he was coming right back. Well, he left and never came back. And 18 minutes later, his phone gave off an SOS signal as if it was in a crash, or the vehicle was in a crash, or maybe something happened to the phone. So we got a lot of cards to get through, guys. And so I'm just going to start putting them out. Now, well, I guess before I do that, I need to just give you a quick synopsis. Basically, what I got, so that way you know what you're looking at, is that he went to meet somebody who was familiar to him. That person set him up. There was something going on behind the scenes, somebody he was dealing with that wasn't quite right. And something happened to where they decided that they were just going to do him in. But the doing is pretty elaborate. It actually refers to him being drugged. We'll do this. Drugged for a prolonged period of time. This is after everything, right? And these cards are not in order. I'm just putting them out. I was sexually assaulted. I was taken for my organs. Dealing in drugs or contraband. I don't think this was him. I think this was the person that he was dealing with, the person he went to see. There was arguments, fighting, and conflict, and beefing with this person. In case there's a narrative, this was no suicide. I did not commit suicide. They took my organs. I cheated on my spouse, partner, girlfriend, or boyfriend. Okay, so I think that this is where the issue came in. I think that he was dealing with somebody, cheated on them, and maybe that person, maybe he didn't know that person knew. I think this person was older, and I think they were powerful. And it, as it would anybody, it bruises your ego when your partner cheats on you, especially if they've been whispering sweet nothings for God knows how long. But not saying that that was the case, but whoever this was he was dealing with, I believe, is behind all of this. I was randomly attacked. Met with someone or met with somebody secretly. Now, here's the thing. Zelig had made a video that I don't think a lot of people are aware of. But I think Zelig had gone through a conversion therapy to where he denounced being homosexual. Well, obviously he identified as being homosexual, but he said the root of it was because he was molested as a child. And there was this whole emotional video where you can tell he was being genuine and sincere. But it's interesting because it's been a year later, and I think people are just now finding out about that video. And so there are people who didn't know that there was a connection, this kind of connection. He's from a family that is very religious, right? So, and he stated that he was religious. He grew up in the church, and the reason why, there was some confusion is because he was abused when he was younger. But What if, after all of that, he ended up dealing with a male again romantically? Because that's kind of what I see. Taken to an island. I have a history of drug abuse or alcoholism. This could have been when he was living in New York, because New York is a different feel from South Carolina. Sorry, he's from Columbia, South Carolina, and he was in New York for some time while he was working on Broadway. I was dismembered. Folks involved have significant tattoos. Now, it could be the number of tattoos that the perp has is significant, or it could be the specific tattoos themselves and what those tattoos are. Membership tattoos, gang-affiliated tattoos. So that could be anything. Says I'm in an alternate dimension. And I think this is the case is because he was kept on a prolonged drug. A lot of times when people have their organs stolen, they're kept on a drip. So that they are used. A lot of times they're used for platelets and other things, other blood products as well as organs. So when someone says that, I'm in an alternate dimension, they could literally be in a different, just a different state of mind or understanding themselves to be in a different dimension when you're constantly drugged. When I asked him who was involved, he said either the wife or the husband. So he wasn't married, so I would take it either my girlfriend or my boyfriend. My death was planned by somebody who was aged 50 and over. Maybe somebody was trying to court him who was older and wealthy. And he teetered with it, went back and forth with it, but maybe wasn't sure. I was sold by this person, I believe, that's 50 plus and older, who's wealthy, for adrenochrome. Or maybe he gets his money by setting up young gay men or young, somewhat quasi-gay men, because they seem to be easier to set up in some circles, or that could be perceived that it's easier to get them, to traffic them, because a lot of them do suffer from, the whole displacement and needing to be needed and needing to be wanted, victim of a serial killer, indicating that the person who harmed me has done this before. So they may not necessarily be a serial killer per se, but they've done this before. And there are other missing person cases out of that area. Is indicating that the person that he was meeting was a white male. There may have been some fear, caution, or apprehension when meeting him. Indicated that wealthy individuals were and are involved. Whenever you're dealing with adrenochrome, it's definitely, you're going to have wealthy people involved. It's a very expensive chemical. I was secretly stalked by someone I know. I think this is the person that he met up with, or I think this was the person he met up with, or the person that was setting him up to be sold, because they had to arrange this. And the thing with this phone is another funky thing. I'm going to get into that in a minute. I think he was used for this, which is not uncommon. I saw it in other readings with other young males. A male was involved. And this yes, indicating that that was part of the reason, was that there was a perverse, assault, sexual situation that he was used for as well. He says he fell or was thrown off of something eventually or ultimately, because I don't believe he's still with us. I cheated on my spouse or girlfriend, well, spouse, girlfriend, or boyfriend, which I think is triggered this whole thing with whoever that was he was meeting. I walked into a trap. I was tricked. A female is involved. I am heartbroken. Taken to Canada, which a lot of trafficking victims are taken out of state. There was a desire, lust, and attraction component by the person who set this up. Sex-based crime. That was part of it. A tech corporation was involved with my disappearance. I think this is involving the situation with his phone because his phone pinged an SOS as if there was an accident, and there wasn't. So did somebody have access? Did somebody get into his phone as a diversion? You know, were they trying to, what was the situation with his phone pinging SOS when there wasn't an accident or anything like that? They found his car abandoned. There was nothing wrong with the phone or with the car. So a tech corporation was involved with my disappearance or added to it. It was a robbery in the sense that he was set up to have his organs stolen, among other things. I come around my family, living family, mentions a brother, so maybe somebody was involved with this that he trusted as a brother, somebody he saw as his brother. He says he was drugged. We know that with the medication drip. He mentions being burned or cremated. And we know that he was murdered, which is usually what happens when people are trafficked for their organs. So I've done a few cases where there were young males who were taken and used as sex slaves. The one, and I can't think of his name, and I did the Daniel case, the one out in Arizona, where his father is very active in trying to get his case dealt with out in Arizona. I saw that happening to him, Daniel. The other one was Devontae out of Washington, D.C., the one that they try to say that Kanye was involved with his death, that he went out to South Dakota or North Dakota, which he did not. He was murdered in D.C. And there are, I found in these readings that that's a commonality with these young males is that they are used, defiled sexually first, and then, you know, they're used for these other things, adrenochrome, the organs, or they're on a drip because there's multiple products, biological products that are being used in their body. So yeah, I feel like his case, Zelig's case, is a lot deeper and layered. And it's very ugly. And I think it just involves trusting the wrong person. You know, who was this older guy? Was this older guy somebody he was dealing with after he said that he was no longer in the life, living as a homosexual, and then decided that he was going to start seeing somebody. This person, there's an indication that this person was a dealer or dealing contraband. Why did he leave the house dressed like he was coming right back? Like he just went out for a quick errand. Was he going to pick up drugs? He didn't take his medication with him. And he doesn't strike me as and there were arguments that indicated that there was a conflict. There were arguments. So he doesn't strike me as somebody that there was a card that said, I do have a history of drug and alcohol abuse. But if there was an issue like that, I don't think it was so pronounced to the point where he was at a serious level, because I think that the family would have been able to identify that. I think there would have been obvious changes. But he was on a medication for his mental health, and they said that he left that behind. So he left the house as if he was coming right back. The vehicle was found not too far from where he lived. So he got into somebody else's car, probably to have a conversation. A person probably invited him in, said, hey, let's take a ride. We'll take my car. And that was it. And how many times have we seen that happen? So it's like when a person leaves as if they're coming right back, and either they leave their cell phone, their wallet, their keys or something, they leave stuff there, and the impression that they're coming right back, you guys got to be careful. Because a lot of times those people don't come back. They don't come back. And it makes me wonder what they're being told that would make them leave their cell phone at home or leave their wallet or keys at home or just run out as if they were running back in and they're never seen again. So sending much love, honestly, sending much love and compassion to Zelig's family, to him himself. He came through very clearly, very strongly, sent him a lot of love and compassion, and sent some prayers to his family. It's been this year makes a year that he's been missing. So you know, these readings, you can take them as you wish. You know, I believe I connected with him. The information that was coming out was telling a story. It was very consistent, but it wasn't unfamiliar because, again, with males his age, his demographic, I've heard, you know, similar things with the sex slavery. They're using them as sex slaves and then they're taking their organs from them. So may he find peace, may the family find peace. And if you like what you've seen, please like the video, share it, and subscribe. I thank you guys for tuning in. Take care.